Growing strong, an unusual set of words to represent a great Westrosian house. But House Tyrell of the Reach has prospered, and are the only great house to surpass the Lannisters' vast amount of wealth. Before House Tyrell, the Reach was controlled by House Gardner, who came to power during the Age of Heroes. The first ruler of the Reach was the legendary Garth Gardner. It's rumoured that Garth was the first to use the Reach's fertile land, and it's he who is to blame for all of the prosperity in the Reach. The Tyrells were a sub-house to the Gardners, and served as stewards, but the Tyrells are believed to be somewhat descendants of Garth, which only strengthens their rule over the Reach. It wasn't until the War of Conquest when the Tyrells were given dominion over the Reach, and the rank as a great house. When Aegon and his dragons first arrived in Westeros, they were strongly opposed by most. King Mern Gardner, the last of his bloodline, and King Loren Lannister of the Rock went to face the Targaryens with a combined 55,000 men, in what's now known as the Field of Fire. It's quite self-explanatory what happened here. The army was burnt by dragonfire along with the last remaining Gardner, but Loren was able to surrender. When Aegon and his armies arrived at Highgarden, the Reach's ancient castle, Lord Harlem Tyrell yielded it to Aegon, as opposed to it being obliterated like Harrenhal was. In return, Harlem and his family were made Lords of the Reach. This was the beginning of the Tyrells' dominion, and over time they expanded, and even occupied large sections of Dorne for a while. Whilst other leaders in Westeros yielded to Aegon, the Dornishmen would not, and continued a bloody guerrilla warfare against them until they eventually came to a peace agreement. All in all, the Tyrells were incredibly loyal to the Targaryens, and even backed the Targaryens in the War of the Usurper, where they had a victory over Robert Baratheon, and then went on to siege Storm's End. But that's all in a separate video that should be on screen about now. The Reach is located in the south of Westeros, and is the second largest province after the north. The Reach has the most fertile lands in all of Westeros, if not the world. The fertile lands of the Reach have given them great prosperity over the other houses. For this reason, the Reach is one of the most powerful provinces, with a booming economy. Unlike the Lannisters, who gain their riches through vast gold and silver mines, the Tyrells have their crops, which, unlike the Veins of Ore, the Tyrells' wealth is potentially infinite, and expands every harvest. When winter comes, lords have to survive on what they've harvested in the summer, which tends to suffice, but if food stocks run low due to war or anything else, then the Tyrells will always have some spare, but nothing's free. This is very much what happens in Game of Thrones, where they join the Loyalists, but only in exchange for the marriage. Ultimately, everyone wins because the Tyrells are now technically royalty, and the Loyalists got their support. Westrosian politics. The Tyrells reside in the fortress of Highgarden, possibly one of the most picturesque of castles. Its tall walls are surrounded by fields of golden roses. The castle itself is filled with musicians and artists who seek inspiration from the tranquil surroundings. Highgarden isn't the only attraction of the Reach. It's also home to the Maesters Guild, which within itself is a landmark. The lands of the Reach and Highgarden are some of the most cultured in the entire land, and have become the envy of lesser lords. Known as the home of chivalry, the Reach is an Arcadia for knights, where they're treated with the utmost respect. It's also home to great tourays, and events in the Reach are celebrated by all, rich and poor. Where other houses may take lions and direwolves as sigils, the Tyrells take a golden rose on a green canvas. But it would be a foolish lord to mock the Tyrells' military power. With multiple sub-houses, the Tyrells have one of the largest standing armies in Westeros, and the combined navy surpasses the royal fleet. The Tyrells take the title Defenders of the Marches. This is due to how without their crops the army would never reach the battlefield due to starvation. The lands of the Reach are looked upon with great reverence by the other provinces, with the cultural society and ever-expanding wealth. For this reason, many would want them as allies, as with their powerful army and supplies, they could prove indispensable.